Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're continuing with Standard 2022, because it's currently my favourite format to play right now, so apologies to anyone who waits up for like the historic stuff and the Brawl stuff. We will get to it eventually, but to be honest, the hype for the new D&D set has mostly been focused on the new Standard, really. It's probably going to have a minimal impact on like Brawl and Historic in general. So I really just want to play around with the new format, and it's been so much fun to play, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying the journey along with me. Today we're going to be playing with this lovely deck. Also, as you mentioned, see, I've been brewing a lot. I've been doing a lot more playing Magic than I normally would, and yeah, it's definitely... There was a little bit of burnout prior to Standard 22, and it's just kind of all been shedded off, which is really nice. So thank you for sticking through any of the videos where I might have been a slightly bit more salty than usual, and just tolerating what's happening. Things like that. Anyway, rant over. Today we're going to be playing a Bard's Tale. This is a legendary tribal deck, a style of gameplay that really calls to me. For those who've been on the channel long enough, you'll know that during, I think, Dominaria time, something like that, Dominaria Standard, one of my favourite decks to play was a Mardu or Boros. I had two decks, Legendary Tribal list that used Squee the Immortal and Blackblade Reforged, and it was at the time, I think, where Blue-White Control was really popular. So obviously, Squee the Immortal coming back and equipping up this blade that would make it a one-shot kill every time was really good against that format. It was kind of a really awesome rogue deck that I greatly enjoyed playing. And this one's no exception. This one's really sweet, and it does also have that kind of late-game potential against control decks. So, let's talk about how this deck came to be. From the new D&D set, we got Bard class, a gruel-coloured enchantment, which is a class enchantment. The level 1 ability right then and there is that legendary creatures enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on them. That means that the Bard class scales quite nicely. So, you know, your Magdas come in as 3/2s, for example. And if you got another Bard class, then they're 4/3s for 2 mana. Your value on these gets extremely high the more you end up getting of them. You don't usually want more of them, though, but that is an option available. The Chapter 2, which is a red and a green to pay for it, or Level 2, I'm going to say Chapter quite a lot, I do apologise, says legendary spells you cast cost 1 red and 1 green less to cast, and this reduces only the amount of coloured mana you pay, which means Magda becomes a 1 mana spell for 2/1, or for a 3/2, 1 mana 3/2. Targ becomes a free 3/3. And then things like a Seeker become 1 and a green for a 2/5. Basically, this makes all of your creatures extremely cheap and efficient, making this quite an aggressive deck when it wants to be. The Chapter 3, again, sorry, the Level 3, 5 mana, when you activate this, you get the ability of, whenever you cast a legendary spell, exile the top 2 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. There's not a great deal of enchantment removal right now, outside of Skyclave Apparition, I've found anyway. So once this is down, it's usually really good. It's certainly good against like the Dimir control list, which is kind of, I think, the best control list in the format right now. But that's not saying much. I don't think it's a particularly good deck, because it kind of gets like run over by quite a few of the tier lists right now, and to a certain extent this one, funnily enough. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, you exile the top 2 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. Remember, the Bard class is already cost reducing your cards, so if you had like a Bard class and a level 2 Bard class available, or 2 of them available, you're only paying colourless mana for all of your cards, which means you can just start chaining out cards, and if one legendary card leads to another legendary card, then you can cast those from exile and keep chaining it together. So this is a great way to get back into the game all on its own. You just have to have the legendary card in your hand ready to go. The rest of the deck is, well, I don't know how to describe it. It's very mid-rangey with some aggressive nature to it as well. So we do have some Arnie Broken Brows in here. This would be a 2 mana with haste, and you can also boast for 1 whenever you... change Arnie's you may change Arnie Broken Brow's base power to 1 plus the greatest power among creatures you control until the end of the turn. Targ can double its power, so it could become like a 6/6 and then you pay 1. to make this a 7-3, for example. Or it'd be 7-4 if you had your Bard class. Things like that. It's just pretty crazy. A Seeker gives all of your legendary creatures vigilance and also allows them to add 1 mana of any color, which means your Seeker can help you cast the Prismatic Bridge. That happens a fair amount of the time, and it's not a terrible thing to do either. The deck has been set up in such a way that you don't usually have an excess amount of the same legendary creature or legendary card stuck in your hand at any time. So the Prismatic Bridge is unlikely, though, you know, it's going to happen occasionally. Unlikely to hit another legendary creature you already have. All depends on how set up your board is. If it's already well set up, you're probably winning the game anyway. And if it's empty, Prismatic Bridge can only do you a lot of good that way. We've got a Seeker's Chariot, because this is kind of one of the best green cards in the format right now. Makes a double 2/2 cat creature tokens. And it's also a 4/4 that can then crew off of those, creating copies of treasures and also 2/2s, which is really nice. We can use it to even tap the Magda. Same thing for a Seeker. We can use Magda as mana, tap her, and then her tap ability creates a treasure that way. So this is how we ramp into these late game cards. If we ever manage to get to the 5 treasures, we have the one of Inferno. I've never actually managed to do that, but hard-casting Inferno is not difficult either. It's a flying 6/6 with haste, and it also can't be countered as well. So the best deck, well, the second best deck at the moment is It Dragons, and that has a lot of counter magic and a lot of counterplay in that regard. Inferno gets right around that in the same way that Toski does as well. If our board state is even slightly established, Toski can draw us a lot of cards off of all of our creatures, and hopefully they're really huge. Speaking of huge, Kolvari, 4 mana 2/4. As long as you control 3 or more other legendary creatures, or 3 or more legendary creatures, sorry, it is a 6/6 with vigilance. And you can pay 2 to look at the top 6 cards of your library and reveal a legendary creature card from among them and put it into your hand, the rest of them bottom of your library in a random order. So this is another way that we can go late into the game as well, having an aggressive threat that can also fill out our hand and allow us to keep playing. The Ringheart Crest gets around the legendary legend rule side, which is a bit of a downside for the rest of the cards. The Ringheart Crest, a 2 mana rock. You choose a creature type. You're always going to choose Elf, because the only non-legend in this deck is Jaspera Sentinel. So you can name Elf or Rogue, but you might as well just name Elf, because I told you. And it adds green mana, but you can only spend it to cast a creature spell of the chosen type or a legendary creature spell. So Kolvari can be a nice late game threat and an early game ramp spell as well. I think that's about all I'm really going to mention as far as this deck's concerned. It is super sweet. It's probably in the tier 2 range as well, so it's not a bad deck to play if you want to win a couple of games here and there. It's probably not the best deck in the world, but has a lot of stuff. Our removal, by the way, Frostblight and Blizzard Brawl. It's the reason why we're running Snow Mana. The pathways are a little bit sketchy for that reason. You might want to just go down to 3 of these and then add maybe a Faceless Haven or something like that. I don't know. I like to have the ability to play all of these, whether or not it matters, because both of these care about 3 or more snow permanents. So on turn 3, this is a 3 damage burn spell instead of a 2. And then this is a fight spell that gives the creature indestructible and +1/+0. Very relevant, actually. This one gets hit hardest by not having 3 snow permanents in play. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the deck tech portion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you've been playing in Standard 22. I really would love to know, because there's a lot to explore in this format, I think, and it's by far not a solved format at this moment. I'm expecting a fair few of the decks to drop off over time and some more to crop up, so I'd love to see what you guys have been playing. And if you've been having any luck against the top tier decks in the format right now. But yeah, take care and enjoy the gameplay. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in on the play. We've got a curve. I will say this is certainly a curve. Turn 1 Sentinel, turn 2 Bard class, turn 3 could do Bard class plus Blizzard Brawl. All depends on obviously what we draw. I'm sure we won't be doing that turn 3. Because Sentinel plus Blizzard Brawl doesn't hit too many useful things, but we'll see. But yeah, any hand I think that has a Bard class in its opener is perfectly fine by me, to be honest. This card is extremely good with the right enablers, of course, which the enablers is most of your deck needs to be legendary. So, pretty similar start for our opponent. Timber Crown Pathway. I doubt they're on the same thing as us, and we're not going to play the Pathway here because we might want the Blizzard Brawl with the triple Snow next turn. So it doesn't really benefit us too much there. We can pay for Bard class next turn and play a Magda or even Targ Nar as well. So maybe we'll get to that point. They're actually not even using Snow mana, so no Blizzard Brawl, no Frostbite from them, presumably. It's gonna be a Dragon's deck of some sort. Alright, well, I think it's a pretty easy enough turn for us. I think we're just gonna go cost reduce for Legends, play our tap land, since we have no use for the mana. Now Blizzard Brawl is live, our Legends are so much cheaper now. Pretty much cast our entire deck at this point. Showdown of the Scalds, and they put the Pathway on black as well. Does that mean they're playing, like, Tiamat kind of dragons? Probably with the Kalane Reclusive Painter, I would imagine. There's even a Ranger class here as well. All that's pretty dope. Alright, so it costs 5 to level up this Bard class. I could go... Where do we want to go with this? I could go with the Kolvori, or I could put it on the ring side instead. I think I'm going to just go Kolvori as a 3-mana threat here. Look at that. 3-mana, 3/5. I could fight with the Blizzard Brawl, but I'm wondering if I actually want to hit the Kalane instead. Though we do hit a lot by just, like, getting rid of the Jaspera Sentinel. It kind of pinches our opponent's mana a little bit, but not that much. I think I'll just save it. Like, if they commit a lot of counters to a single Sentinel, then maybe I can hit that with my Blizzard Brawl. Wouldn't surprise me if they just go Kalane Ranger class, though. Yeah, so there's Kalane, puts a counter on Jaspera Sentinel, which we can still kill. To put another counter on it, we can still kill it. And then we've gotten rid of a chapter's worth of the Showdown in value there as well. Please leave my Kolvori alone. A Dragon's Fire plus a Reveal probably kills Kolvori at 5 toughness. Which would suck. It would leave us on pretty annoying top decks, but yeah, it looks like they're just going to go for the Rangers class here. I think that's probably correct. And still play 3 drops. So I guess the Dragon's Fire is still an option. Like, this is it power or... Reveal a dragon, deal damage equal to its power. So they actually have to have a 5 power dragon. So Imarith is a thing. Goldspan Dragon isn't. Tiamat obviously is. That one's a 7/7. Alright. So we got to free territory. I think I'm just going to Blizzard Brawl with the Jaspera Sentinel here. Pinch them on a little bit of mana, maybe. This puts a counter on additional creatures, but my creatures are going to be quite large anyway, so I don't know if I care too much about that. We could also put the Bard class on level 3, and then Targ does a thing, but we don't have anything to use the mana on after that. So maybe we'll wait until next turn for something like that. Let's put this on green. I'm actually going to see if Kolvori hits anything good here. Seriously? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Alright, well, Bard class then. Free Targ as a 4-4. And then Blizzard Brawl. I think we're just going to hit the Jaspera Sentinel. That whiff, man. This is Legendary Tribal, for those who might have skipped past the title and the deck text, so it's a bit strange how my Legendary Tribal Matters card just whiffed on finding Legendary Tribal creatures. It happens, though. It happens. It hit 2 Legendary Artifacts, but it has to be the creatures. Honestly, a Seeker's Chariot wouldn't have been terrible here either. Alright, so black, green, red, blue, white. They could have done a Tiamat here, I guess. They didn't use the treasure, so they don't make a 5/5 gold span. Which have actually... I think that would have helped them in killing with Dragon's Fire. Is it called Dragon's Fire? It is called Dragon's Fire, yes. Prosperous Innkeeper, using the treasure, so they make a 2/2 that makes a treasure. Pump in the gold spam. We're in a difficult spot, but I don't think it's over yet. We are going to need a good draw, though. Because our opponent certainly has one. They've had plenty. Retriever Phoenix. Probably go gold span, make some more treasures. No, actually going to go with the Kalane. So get to learn, get a look at the top 6 cards option. So here I could go a Seeker, which turns on all of my legends. Makes them vigilant as well. Yeah, I don't know if I just want to... See, I'm just dead in the air, really. So what could I really find off of Kolvori? I don't have a reaching legend. Yeah, I mean, I've just got to swing and see what happens, I think. This is only 18 if they don't block anything. Yeah, which, unsurprisingly, they block just right. I can kill the Phoenix, I suppose. I'm taking 6 in the air. Blocked, blocked. 7 total if they went for it. Still dead, so I need to find a Jaspera Sentinel, a Blizzard Brawl. I think that's really about it. I guess an Inferno of the Star Mounts would also work. So that's 7 in the air, sorry. So we're dead on board to that. Can't shoot a Jaspera Sentinel. I could shoot I think, the Inferno, but it's a 1-of in my deck. So I'm still going to have to get quite lucky here. 25 is not a life total that I can pressure. Are they tapping out to Ranger Class 4? Now then, that is a Toski. Toski means I can at least draw a card. "47 cards. One of them is an Inferno that can be pulled off of Kolvori, and she searches 5 deep, right? Oh, 6 deep. So, extremely unlikely to happen. Bard class... If I paid the 5... I would only have the 3 mana left for the Toski, so nothing I could cast off that. So I think I just have to go for Toski here and kind of hope for the best. Hope this attack works out for us. So Blizzard Brawl is our only out now, I think. The more cards our opponent lets us draw, the better. I think they know that. So they should block with the Kalane here. Actually, no reason not to block on the Asika, so yeah, we're just down to top decks now. And... yep. So we draw our cards. It is... exactly what we needed! Oh my god. Get in. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is beautiful. Alright. Pass the turn. Right. So, Hasty Dragons, if they have Inferno in their deck, that would kill us. Goldspan's only... is it for each? For each mana on a treasure. So I guess there's a world where they could pump enough of a Goldspan. For 5, 6, 7, yeah. Just gonna go for a Predator though, so we are back to needing to find an answer to that. But we're getting into the pressure position where we could just win with extreme aggression. Remember, Targ can just double power out of nowhere. So, end step. Kolvori gets an Arnie, a hasty creature. So, play the forest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we just play the Arnie. Send it all in. Let's see how many draws we can get here. Probably going to be a draw 3. We still need an answer to the Predator because... well, actually, we just need to potentially just win here. Arnie can pump. Targ can pump. So, it was a reasonable amount of damage here. Not quite enough. Right, let's make them sack with the Predator. So I'm assuming they don't want to just lose it. We need to have just spare a Sentinel here, I think, is our only option. Opponents at 1. Draw 3. Come on, Sentinel. No, no. We're doing it! We're doing it! Oh, we're so close. I can afford to level this up. It makes minimal difference, but difference it does make. Alright, so we're dead to removal. We know that they're not running Frostbite, though. We're also dead to... I think... we're not actually dead to Goldspan Dragon anymore. So that's a thing. I guess if they could give Trample, they could probably do something there, but... looks like it might not be happening. Because we are 100% blocking there. Come on, scoop it up. Scoop it up! Come on, out you go. Get out of here, early GG. I love this deck. This deck is so good. It's amazing. That game was longer than it usually is. But it's all because we took our time. We made, I think, at least close to the most optimal plays. And, you know, sometimes that involves using the timer to your advantage. It's not as if our opponent had more time on the clock than we did. But yeah, we certainly got there. I don't know if there's a line for them that really wins them the game. We had two lucky draws. One of them was a lucky top deck. The other was obviously a draw 3. You know, there's a decent enough chance we were going to draw that. Predator is a very strong dragon as well to come up against. So, like, if it was anything other than Predator, like a Blizzard Brawl would have probably kept us in this game. But yeah, solid stuff. On to the next one. Alright, we're in, and we are on the play. We've got a turn 1 Frostbite for their turn 1 play, so we can hit a Jaspera Sentinel, which is quite popular right now. Turn 2 after that is Magda, which opens up the green mana, and then any land would open up Arnie after that. We're going to keep this one. I think it's fairly aggressive. It's not ideal. Every single hand is more ideal with a Bard class. So, you know, when it's lacking that, and lacking green mana, there's certainly things that could be improved here. Looks like pathway into Dead Sentinel. Fantastic. So that worked out exactly as we hoped it would. Another Frostbite as well. So they are a green-red deck, so let's see if they have a Frostbite of their own. We'll find out soon enough off of their snow-covered mountains. We know they're running them. So they could win the game here, basically, if they hit my Magda and I don't draw a land. That would set us so far back. We can attack into a Jaspera Sentinel, no problem. Well, we've got Frostbites to help us attack into a Jaspera Sentinel. It's probably what I actually meant. Prosperous Innkeeper. Okay. And a Sentinel. That's bad for us. As is that draw. That's not great. So, I mean, we could go with an Arnie here. Swing, Magda makes a treasure. Frostbite, whatever blocks Magda. Because anything blocking it kills it, so we probably have to let them make the block first. Because I really need this Magda to live. Can also threaten an Arnie Pump here if they don't want to block. Chose not to block. To be honest, I think I'm still going to hit the Sentinel. I want to really mana screw them here. I think that's the correct thing to do. While it does take us off the green, especially if Magda dies here, I think that will do the job just fine. They probably had some 3-drops in their hand, and they were really hoping that we didn't actually destroy the Sentinel there. That's kind of the read I was getting. So the moment that was gone, yeah, they couldn't even risk blocking with anything, because they needed this creature here to tap off the Sentinel, and obviously they needed the Sentinel for the 3rd land. They drew, they didn't draw the land. That was enough for them. So, yep, pretty good. Alright, that was a really sketchy start for us, but apparently so was our opponents, and mega punished for it. Next game. Okay, we are in. We have what I would really say is the most expensive hand I've ever seen from this deck, so we're going to mull that one. And this hand looks pretty much ideal. It is lacking an untapped green source, but we're on the draw. We're keeping it, it's just a matter of what we put back. I think it might be Highland Forest. Removal's really useful, though we're going to be using it a bit slow. But we want to go Jaspera into Magda, and I think once we have the Magda down, we're going to need that Frostbite. Maybe it's Chariot. Maybe it's... yeah, maybe it is. Like, this is our guarantee that we've got something to play once we've got all this mana set up. But being on the draw and having plenty of those in our deck, I think it's safer to make sure that we're not getting mana screwed. Den of the Bugbear. Well, the Scry Curse. Orb of Dragonkind. So, currently mono red with more mono red to follow. Could go with the Magda here, or we could go with the Sentinel that can tap the Magda. I think the Sentinel that taps the Magda is probably better. Although, considering we do have a spare Magda here, there is something to say about playing that so that our opponent uses our removal on this rather than our Sentinel. Another orb. Okay. And Frostbite. Yeah, they did have the Frostbite, which kind of sucks, but we now have the Magda. We have a Frostbite to hit something, but if this is dragons, which obviously it is, Frostbites are going to be a little bit difficult. Opponent also has the Dragonfire. No need to reveal there. And 3-drop. And a second orb instead. Top 7 for a dragon. It's going to be a dragon turtle. Okay. Well, if they want to tap anything, they can tap a Magda. If I really want to, I can double Frostbite the dragon turtle. Expressive Iteration. Takes them off of this. Actually, no, it doesn't, right? Because, yeah, you can pay 1 to add 2, so they still got it available. Got the island as well. So, really good start for them. Ooh. That's a punish. Predator with nothing to keep it alive. Yep. Not great for us either, but we're set up for some really good top decks now, because we've got 1,000,000 mana and nothing to do with it. Tanazir Quandrix. When it attacks, you may have the pace, power, and toughness of other creatures control. Sure. It's just a 5-mana 4/4 in awkward colours for our opponent. We've got a Faceless Haven, which I can Frostbite. And Arnie for us, I think, is a really good hit. So it means we can go Arnie, Brawl the Quandrix, and send in the clowns. Pumping, pumping, ready to go. It's all about sending a message. Alright, we can take care of a 3 toughness creature here. Or anything larger that actually blocks the Arnie or the Magda. You do have to be aware at all times that this thing does have flash. And it enters untapped, right? Enters the battlefield, tap it. Oh, tap it and up to 1 other creature an opponent controls. They're going to go in with a Faceless Haven. That's easily worth a Frostbite in my eyes. Right? Yeah, I think it is. I'm sure they're not trying to play around Frostbite here. So taking him off a land does work for me. Very hard to interact with land as well. Oh, bit laggy. Fjord and passes. We drew nothing of note. And our opponent has the ability to change the red into 2 green, right? Yeah. Not 2 green, 2 blue. I'm going to keep this land in hand just as an unknown for our opponent. Set a stop on their main phase just so that they're thinking about it. Look, I have a card in my hand that can interact right now. I wonder what it could be. It's a good little trick to play around with the way that Arena works. It's not always going to do much for you, but yeah. So our opponent's 1,000,000 times going to just play this Imarith and win. Well, that is an Asika, God of the Tree. Red, green. Yeah, we're 1 treasure short of playing the Prismatic Bridge. Oh, 1 treasure short after Magnus swings in to die. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're running Magda into an Imarith. I think we're losing to Imarith, to be honest. Set that up, keep stop again. Give it a minute. And resolves. Playing mind games with our opponent, that's the only edge we've got right now. I mean, if we drew another Asika, we do have a prismatic bridge thanks to Asika. Opponent's going to put a card in hand, one on the bottom, and then one into exile, which is going to be the answer to Magda here, I guess, or Arnie, one or the other. Frostbiting Arnie, sure. And then I guess we're getting Dragon Fired on Magda. Actually, you could do a Seeker. I'll make sure to float Magda's mana in response, because it gives us a treasure, and we're not blocking. So goodbye, Asika. So one upside of that little wonderful combo is you can tap Magda whenever you like. Same thing for the Cadillac. What's it called now? Asika's Chariot. That's not a useful draw for us, unfortunately. I think we're just basically outdrawn. There's no other way to put it, I don't think. Our opponent has drawn better cards than we have, and we never drew a good one to begin with. We'll play it out. I mean, I suppose there's a world where I can 10 them out of nowhere. This deck's certainly capable of doing that kind of thing, but I don't think it's capable of doing it without a Bard class on level 3, realistically. And with Imarith just drawing a million cards every turn as well. Like, our opponent's just incentivized to play as many of these cards as possible, because the more they play, the more Imarith draws. So, big old Goldspan Dragon, yeah. Probably already drawn a Frostbite, but we'll block anyway. Maybe even found a way to double their power on one of their creatures here. Go to 3, draw a card, dead in the air, with, I don't think, any outs. 5 mana left to put a big old blocker in the way. Oh, double Prismari commands. Especially considering they didn't draw and discard theirs. Probably exactly what they've got. Yeah. Alright, opponent had it all. I get 2 lands. Fantastic. I'm glad they let me draw, so I knew that I actually had no outs. But yeah, that one kind of sucked. On to the next one. Okay, opponent goes first. We have a nice hand, so we're going to keep it. Got 3 Snowlands for our Blizzard Brawl. We got a turn 1 Jaspera Sentinel, turn 2 Narg. Oh, Targnar, sorry. Sorry, my null friend. Sanitarium Skeleton. Oh my goodness. Our opponent's memeing. Alright. And Masked Vandal. So far, not seeing anything I care about being played. So what we can do is we can go Targ into Jaspera Sentinel and pass the turn. Accelerating our mana quite nicely here. Next turn we have the Blizzard Brawl and we have the Asika's Chariot. Opponent's just going to attack us for a point. Totally fair. Bloodline Pretender on Skeleton. Okay. Okay, when I said you were memeing, I thought I was joking, but I actually don't. We don't have a Seeker's Chariot down, as it turns out, so we got 3 tap lands. That's a good point, me. Alright, well, we do have 3 Snowlands, so we can go Blizzard Brawl, fight you. So far, that's the only thing that has even looked remotely scary. Hit you down to 15. Crippling Fear. Alright. Play around board wipes, you say? Well, that's a great get back into the game kind of card right there. The Seeker's Chariot go with a 4/4 bat to block. Crippling Fear. Just gonna suit it up, even though it's a 1/1. Maybe our opponent is scared of it. Worth a shot, right? There's Bard class. Opponent's memeing, but I'm whiffing, so... I'd say meme beats whiff every time. Tap lands. Skeleton Lord. Land. Alright. Give me chapter 3. This is where chapter 3 is so useful. Because if I draw a legend, we're going off. If I don't, we're dead. Sanitarium Skeleton. We drew a legend. Look at that. We're not going to play at the land from hand, because we can hit one with Bard class. And we did. We need the creature. Lizard Brawl. So we brawl the priest. And pass the turn. Should have stabilized now. If they had another Lord, they would only have 1 mana left. Just going to go for a Realm Walker on Skeleton. So they can play off the top of their library. Same as I can. We're still going to need a lot of help. Our opponent now has the explosive capability that I do. But they're luckier than I am, so that certainly has an effect. Kolvari, come on. There's a Toski. Alright, Toski's okay. So Toski is another blocker. Hit Frostbite, which hits the Realm Walker. That was huge. Let's suit up with a Seeker's Chariot, I think. Opponent blocks with the Sanitarium Skeleton. I get a treasure and a Magda back to block. So we send that in, we make another treasure. Wow, get to draw a card. That was unexpected. I'm gonna Legend Rule my Magda. So that I have an unblocked one. Or an untapped one. I still could hit plenty of 2-drops here. Losing Inferno's kind of... It's kind of whatever. It's not too bad. Double Frostbite. Huge. Actually huge. You're dead. 3 mana for that. You're dead. And stabilized. This game is probably ours now. We win. Short of them having 3rd Crippling Fear, I suppose. Which would get rid of my Toski. But Kolvari being an extra draw is certainly very useful for us. Our opponent respects that. Lizard Brawl, fantastic. So we're going to hit you. We could hit them for 6 here, which draws 2. I think that's better than getting the Chariot and making a treasure token. These draws are certainly going to be the thing that wins us the game, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, double Bard class. Well, let's go Bard class, level up. Level up. Right, our cards officially require no coloured mana. Our legends don't, anyway. I don't think I can get hasted for 5, so I'm not sure there's much risk here. It says good game. I would agree. That was very good for me. And that just shows the explosive potential of the level 3 Bard class. Fantastic. It's a shame it had to be in a meme form, but props for our opponent for at least trying it out. It's a thing. There is the reason why our opponent's running the deck is because they have that 5 mana Skeletal Swarm, I think it's called. which gives +X+O and trample to all your skeletons, and they have to attack. You get skeletons off of it as well if skeletons die. So it makes sense. The only problem with it is you have to run sanitarium skeletons and things like that. I guess at least you get the changelings, which are pretty useful. But, yeah, pretty sketchy. I don't know. I wouldn't be against trying out my opponent's deck in some form or other. I just don't know if it'll ever be part of the tier 2 collection, or even the tier 1, you know. It's probably tier 3. Anyway, on to the next one. Alright, we are in. Let's have a look. Turn 1 Jaspera Sentinel, turn 2 Magda, double removal. That's a sneaper if I've ever seen one. Opponent is on green Jaspera, yep. It's pretty much like the most popular opening in this game right now. Do we follow up with our own Jaspera, or do we try to mana screw them a little bit? I don't personally think they'll care too much about that Sentinel dying. That's my read of the situation. Although if they went land, ranger class, tap, Jaspera Sentinel, then I would feel kind of bad. Otherwise, my line is just frostbite it, and then let them play their turn 2 play. It's a bit reactionary, but I don't have a good reason to really ramp right now, except for getting Magda down and then tapping it immediately. Yeah, I kind of like that line. So if we play Magda next turn, we can tap her, make a treasure, and then use Frostbite or Blizzard Brawl. Well, they have the other Jaspera Sentinel, but they've got a Blizzard Brawl. Yeah, so we don't block. Got a Kolvori. Okay. Well, let's go Magda. And then I think we're just gonna Frostbite one of them. Although we could get down the Ringheart Crest. I don't know if that's gonna really matter mana-wise. We've got plenty. We don't have enough for the +1/+0 there, but we will next turn. So let's take care of one of these. There we go. Could even go for the Blizzard Brawl here and kill the Sentinel. But again, they didn't really make good use of it last turn, so I don't imagine that they're going to do that either this turn. Boreal Outrider. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if snow was spent to cast it, it gets a counter. Alright. That needs to be answered. But in what form do I choose to do it? Could go with a Kolvori off the treasures and then set that up. I kind of prefer Chariot though. So let's go a Seeker's Chariot. Crew using Magda. And then tap for green here. Might as well do it here, I suppose. Blizzard Brawl. Fight you. Okay. And now we still have Kolvori, which, when enabled with the Seeker's Chariot, is a 6/6. And that's a good use of our mana along the way. So they've got another Boreal Outrider. And the Ranger class. Alright, so we're going to be able to swing through into this and have it be no problem whatsoever. So let's go Kolvori. Let's play our Highland Forest. Tap these guys to make the treasure. See, now the Kolvori's a 6/6, but we'll be able to enable it later as well using Jaspera Sentinel and the Treasure. 2/2. And I think we're just so far ahead, our opponent can't win now. This deck certainly has explosive turns. Without a doubt. Alright, we're going to get rid of you. This leaves Kolvori enabled even after a Seeker's Chariot is no longer a creature, because it cares about legendary creatures only. But we could technically block and then crew for 4, including using Kolvori to do that, which would turn the Kolvori into a 6/6 that way, so still a use there. Mammoth is a 4/4. It's like a final Blizzard Brawl for them, if they're eyeing up my creatures. Oh. An Outlander. This is the one that ventures? Yep. I mean, it's a strong card right now with that extra counter on it being a 3/4 for 2 mana. In general, it kind of looks like draft chaff to me. Alright, so how do we want to line up these attacks? I definitely want to get in with the Chariot, but it's going to trade with the Mammoth most likely, or the Outlander. I'm fine with either of those trades. Kolvori can tap in the middle of combat to get me another legendary. Magda dying is fine, because I've got the backup one and I need a good use for it. So I think we go tap tap like this. Then swing, swing. Let them have a cheap block if they want to take it. Swing, swing, swing. Yeah, I think that works for me. So we get a lot of triggers here. Could even use it to gain a copy of the treasures with the Chariot later down the line, but don't need that just yet. So, trade that we expected. Easy block that we wanted. Fine trade for them, and then they are taking 10 right now. They could take 13. But I don't think that makes much difference. So we're just going to let that go. Because they're that far behind. I think then we go Kolvori, get a Toski. And I'm pretty sure we're going Toski here. It is kind of a surprise attacker, but it's also a great blocker. So let's get that out there. Kolvori's back to being a 6/6. Every single one of my creatures draws me a card, so our opponent, unless they have a Toski of their own, is really, really, really screwed. Because they can't AT me. I don't see a world where that happens. Yep, Faceless Haven, and just dead on the attacks and the sheer card advantage we get from it. GG. Blizzard Brawl. It's kind of salt in the wound, but we might as well fire it off, I suppose. Let's get rid of the biggest toughness creature. There we go. Kolvori's indestructible now. We're going to... yeah, just swing with everyone. Whole team's getting him. Send it. Pump the squad. Targ is honestly growing on me. It's only a 2-of in this deck, but it has been quite impressive whenever I've found it, and it's free off of a Bard class that's been leveled. But other than that, it is a little bit... I don't know. I think 2-of is a sweet spot. 2-of is probably where you want to be with that card, even though it is really helpful in being aggressive. But yeah, being able to double later down the line has its advantages when it's got a million counters on it and you've pumped it and all this nonsense. But yeah, pretty sweet. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. We had some really good games there, and I think we showed off the deck quite well in its aggressive side and a little bit of its kind of long game as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below, all that jazz. And without further ado, gonna leave it off here. Take care and good night.